Lobby Day 2020, House Bill 142, and our interaction with Glenn Davis. This is the DS Gunworks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Dave, and this is the breakdown. So, we went down to Lobby Day on Sunday. We left to get down there early because apparently parking was going to be a mess, and they were closing garages and doing all kinds of crazy stuff down there. Uh, it ended up actually being a lot easier than we thought it was going to be. Parking for us was pretty simple. Anyway, the entire experience being down there was pretty awesome. Everybody was real friendly. I've never heard "I'm sorry" so many times in my life. You couldn't move around without really bumping into anybody. But you'd bump into somebody, you'd say sorry, they'd say sorry for being in the way. It was just really cool. Everybody complimented on each other on their gear, their guns, their equipment, all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of threats of racial tension and white supremacists and Antifa showing up and all that kind of stuff. And the entire time I was there, I didn't see one full Confederate flag. Did see one that was it was blended. The stars and stripes sort of blended into a Confederate flag, but that was pretty much as, I guess, racist as it got, you could say. I don't even really find that flag to be racist personally, but that's, I guess, just me to each their own, I suppose. So we didn't get to hear anybody speak from where we were because we refused to disarm ourselves, to go and stand up for our right to bear arms. I think that's, kind of pointless to take your gun off, but, again, to each their own. So we stood outside for about 4 or 5 hours. It was wicked cold. But later on in the day when the sun came out, it did warm up a little bit. We were able to wander down to Main Street and check that out and see all the people that were there. Initial estimates are around 22,000-ish people. I think there was more than that, but then again, I can't really say for sure what 22,000 versus 50,000 people looks like. So it kind of is what it is. But later on in the day, after we went over to the Commonwealth Hotel and had lunch, we came outside, and Delegate Glenn Davis was outside doing an interview with Millie Weaver from InfoWars. You guys probably know her as Millennial Millie. So he was out there talking to her, and then he came over and he spoke with us, and several people confronted him, including me, about his bill HB-142. Which has to do with the concealed carry permit process in Virginia and how you go about obtaining that.
142 does not get rid of online. So what 142 does, my biggest concern with 142 is out-of-state entities putting these online things together that don't talk at all about what best practices or the obligations of an individual considered carrying in Virginia. So do I, but I can't give you that. We're in the minority. So I want individuals in Virginia to be protected, that when they pay that $30 to $70, that they're actually getting the information that they want to get, that they're looking for. So what my bill does is says, those that put the videos online, one, the person online has to give their name and what their certification is, because in state code already, you have to be an NRA certified or Virginia certified instructor to do the video. So it just makes you give your name. Not your name, but
what video? I'm not in your state, so what video?
Oh, sorry. So in the Commonwealth of Virginia, to get a concealed carry permit, you have to take a gun safety course. It's kind of a little bit backwards, but obviously that's not going to change. And the majority of those gun safety courses, when people pay that $30 to $70, those courses don't talk anything about the obligations, responsibilities, best practices of carrying concealed. It doesn't talk about. So I agree, but I can't. We're in the minority.
Would you discharge a bill if you had constitutional carry?
Well,
would you discharge it?
I've always supported constitutional carry before. I'll support it again.
So let me ask you this then: in respect to concealed carry classes, how many concealed carry classes have you taken?
So I've watched over a dozen in the last 2 weeks.
I'm not asking how many you watched. How many classes you attended?
So that is an online concealed carry class, is watching the videos, right? The only thing different is
So I would disagree with that. As one who has the concealed carry from
So do I.
Virginia, we didn't see any videos. The man spoke to us for multiple hours about what to do
And
with
that's
the gun,
great. Yeah,
what how
yes.
to do with it,
Right.
what you can do with it, what you can't do with
Don't
it. how
make
to
it
carry
harder
it,
for me
things
to
to watch.
Exactly.
I don't have the foggiest idea what you're talking about.
So you can go and take the course online, or you can take it in person. In person, what you've got was exactly what happens, right? Online, I want to make sure that individuals, they can take whatever course they want, but if they're looking for something that talks about the best practices for concealed carry, that's notated. So the first thing this bill does is say that any concealed carry qualify online.
Can you hold this for a second?
Can you expect to have the best practices and roles and responsibilities of concealed carry in Virginia in there? If it doesn't and you still want to take it, you can. If it doesn't, now the second thing it does is it sets up a firearm safety awareness week, which will be the last weekend in the month of August. We were looking for September because the father of gun safety, his birthday is in September, but because of how the tax holidays happen.
So as you guys can see, the first thing that he starts talking about is out-of-state entities doing classes. I think that's probably got a lot to do with tax revenue, because that money's going out of state. They want to keep the money in the state. They're politicians. They like their tax money. They like to spend their tax money. He's a Republican, but I'm pretty sure he's just a rhino, which is a Republican in name only. So he's not really on our side the way that he claims to be on our side. His statement that it doesn't affect the online requirement is a bold-faced lie, because the way that I've read the bill is you're not allowed to use an online training course anymore, or a video or anything like that, to satisfy the training requirement for the Virginia concealed carry permit. He also claims when they're talking to him that he supports constitutional carry. That's a bold-faced lie too, because constitutional carry negates anyone having to have a carry permit. It goes off the Second Amendment, which is your right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Bear, carry, we can debate that all day long, but that is what it is. If you support constitutional carry, why are you submitting a bill that makes it harder for people to satisfy your state's carry permit requirements? Number one. Number two, why would you, if you're on our side, why would you submit a bill regardless that does anything to change carry permit requirement laws? The other thing we started to ask him too is if he had ever taken a class. He sat there and told me he's watched over a dozen videos in the last week or two. I don't care how many videos you watch. Anybody can go on YouTube and watch a video. I'm sure a lot of you are probably watching this on YouTube right now. If you haven't physically gone and taken a class, how can you compare what you would get from a class that you would actually go and attend and talk to an instructor face-to-face versus what you would get online? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
The tax-free holiday that the BCDL and the NRA have tried to keep for years now.
So would that mean tax-free on any guns, any gun lockers, any gun accessories?
Anything with safes, so it would be the safes, the lockers, anything but the firearms themselves.
He starts going and talking about some tax-free gun safety day. He's talking about tax-free on safes and lockers and all that, which is pretty cool. I mean, taxes on $1,000 plus safe would be nice.
What if my gun's got a safety on it? That's a safety mechanism.
It
comes with a lock.
Look, I'm on your side.
The $400 lock comes with a free gun. How about that?
I'm on your side. Look, let me answer.
That'd be great. I'd buy a whole bunch of locks that day.
As an NRA and a Maryland State Police certified firearms instructor that certifies people to carry guns, what qualifies you to decide what we teach and what laws people have to follow in order to qualify for a concealed carry permit, when the biggest part of a concealed carry class is how to handle the gun safely, how to store it safely, how to store your ammunition safely, how to keep the stuff away from your children and everything else.
All these classes. I really wish. So you're
People
right.
like me teach all these classes.
No, there are, but there are people that are not like you teaching these classes too.
How do you know that? Because you haven't taken any of these classes.
I've taken over a dozen of them.
No, I point blank just asked you. You said you watched a dozen.
That's what taking the class is. That's what you have to understand.
That's watching the
You're
video.
missing in person.
Anybody can go on YouTube and watch a video.
You're missing the point. So all the in-person classes are great. When you go take an in-person class where you can ask questions and have people like you, that's one thing. In Virginia, you can actually take an online class and not have to be in person. Those videos communications are made by outside state entities, and people like you aren't doing it. Know what you're talking about passing on to individuals isn't what's in there. I'm not looking to dictate what has to be in the course. My bill doesn't dictate what has to be in the course. My bill just says when someone takes the course that they're told in advance what they can expect to learn from that course, and that way they can decide whether that's the course they spend their $100 on, or it's a different course they want to spend their $100 on. That's what it
The course
says.
that I've seen dictates that because any instructor wants to advertise what's included in their course.
So that's the thing.
I teach a class for $75. It's 4 hours long.
In person, in person or online?
Exceed state minimum
Online
requirements.
or in person?
It's in person.
See, I love you. That's what we need. We need more of you.
You can see, kind of spend some time trying to butter me up a little bit. No.
Sheriff, I'm listening. Do the letters FO mean anything to you?
Just don't. No. Don't do that.
If you would teach your class online, I would take people
Okay, so
to
what
your
what
class.
classes are offered online?
So if you
Name
go,
one. Name one.
Okay, you want to go see a dozen? I got them upstairs.
No, I want you to name one right now.
That's
And they're not actual classes, so your bill is pointless. Because they're not actual. No, I don't.
What you're calling for is the Common Core curriculum for guns. Common Core is bad, and
that
the
doesn't work
state
for
deciding
everybody.
what goes into the class is
Because the way that
bad.
I would instruct you how to discharge your firearms safely, and unfortunately, in an environment where yes, it's not the wild, wild west anymore. Everybody doesn't run inside when they know a gunfight's going to happen. But the way that I would teach you would be different from the way that I would teach a female how to do it. Because it's a totally different body dynamic. So it just doesn't work that way.
You're proving the point. You're the type of person that we need teaching classes in person or online. That's exactly what I mean. That's the whole point of the bill. And it's just having people aware. Are they going to get someone like you talking about the things that you express that are important to understand? Or are they going to get some guy in, California who does a 40-minute class where literally it says verbatim that here's the chamber of a firearm, and you need to always point your firearm in a safe direction, which may not be down because you could be standing over top of someone. That is the type of class that is pretty much, I would think everyone would agree with. But someone like you in front of the camera doing your class, that's valuable, and that's what people need to see. So my bill just does three things. One, are they getting someone like you that talks about the things that you think are important? Two, it sets the Firearm Safety Awareness Week, and it creates a tax-free holiday. That's what's important, and that's what I think all we need to do is make sure that we have a chance for individuals to be able to acquire firearms, to be able to protect themselves and their family. Take the courses that are necessary in Virginia. I'm support constitutional carry, always have. Unfortunately, we're in the minority, and that's just not a reality.
But
What do you propose making it better
make such
than what you're hearing?
Sorry?
Who are you to make such a decision?
Which decision?
The decision to say how people have to teach the class and that people
What to
decide
bring
for
them, what to
themselves.
I'm not saying what you
Okay,
do in class.
so-
You know that better than I, right?
That's what you just said.
No.
Exactly what you're saying.
That's what your bill does.
No, right.
People need to be able to do their own research.
And all my bill says
You're
is
sort of kind of insulting the intelligence of the
No.
people there where you're trying to tell them what they need to
So
do
here-
to make their own decision.
no. So here's what you missed. So all I'm doing is using your analogy. Tell them the year and make the model. That's it, right? That's all I'm saying. So I'm not telling you what you have to teach.
Okay, so that's on the website when you go to sign up for a class.
I wish it was.
So which one is it not on?
Pick one.
Which one is it not? I'm asking you. Which
Well,
one
do,
is
you
it not
think,
on?
do you think I know all these URLs off the top of my head? I mean, come on, get a little bit.
Name a company.
I will take you upstairs. You want to go upstairs? Go look. You want to go upstairs?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go.
He's never actually taken a concealed carry class other than videos he's watched online. He can't name any classes. He asked me to name some classes. I'm not the one proposing a bill that's infringing on anybody's rights. If you're that passionate about the bill that you're proposing, you should know some information about it right off the top of your head to throw at people that want to ask you some questions. One of the guys in our group points out that it's sort of leading to the Common Core of gun safety.
I've got 3 10s, which is 30, and 5 ones. So that is 30 plus 5.
Which could actually happen. Any kind of regulation that the government wants to put on something, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
When they give us that inch, that bump stock ban, we will take a mile.
We've all seen that before. What it really boils down to is he's already lying, saying you have to put information on there stating the instructor's name, what's in the class, stuff like that. Instructors already do that. If you don't do that, you're kind of a bad instructor, in my opinion, because you need to market your class. Why should someone take my class over the other guy's class? It's just simple economics of how you advertise for your business. The Common Core for Guns comment.
The next step would be to draw a large box.
It may actually have some truth to it. The problem with something like that is not everybody learns the same way. We've already figured that out with Obama's travesty of Common Core math that was an absolute mess.
Okay, and on this box, we're going to put both of our expanded numbers.
The way that I would teach a smaller framed female how to shoot a gun would be different than the way that I would teach someone my size or an average size male how to shoot a handgun. It's a completely different body mechanic, dynamic sort of way that it works. You can't teach everybody the same way. And because you can't teach everybody the same way, you can't have politicians regulating how you teach that class. It just doesn't, it's not going to work.
Sometimes it gets a little tricky when we have those extra zeros on there when we're multiplying by a 10.
It really just seems to me that he became a politician and he's submitting a bill to submit a bill because he's a politician and he's a lawmaker and he thinks that's his job.
That some people did something?
I got news for you, buddy. Just because you're a lawmaker doesn't mean you have to submit new laws. You can just be a lawmaker and sit in your office and collect your paycheck and not submit laws. Or if you do submit laws, how about submitting ones that don't infringe on the rights of average citizens? Because let me tell you this about that. The homies on the street, the mopes and everybody else, they don't have carry permits, man. They're carrying guns in their waistbands without permits.
The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them.
They don't care what your law says. So the only people affected by this are the law-abiding citizens who on the daily basis are trying to do the right thing. And you're just making it harder for people to do that. Like I told him when we were standing there, his bill is pointless. It really is. It's going to solve absolutely nothing. It's going to make it harder for people. He's talking about a price tag of $30 to $70. We charge $75 for a 4-hour class. And it's a basic class. Like he talks about, this is the chamber of a firearm. Yes, this is the chamber of a firearm. This is the slide stop. This is the magazine release. This is your front sight. This is your rear sight. This is how you line them up, how you pull the trigger, how you hold the thing, how you breathe. Do all that kind of stuff. It's a basic class. It is not a gunfighting class. If you want to take a gunfighting class, then you sign up and you go take a gunfighting class. So, him trying to tell people what kind of classes they need to take and telling the instructors how to teach those classes and trying to help the people along with making their own decisions is really just insulting the intelligence of his constituents. You're not smart enough to do your own research to figure out what class you should take, so we're going to tell you what class you should take.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen then. My $75 class can then go up to be a $500 class because I might be the only class in town that meets the minimum requirements now. You take away all competition between all the different instructors, so I could offer a bare minimum class that meets all the requirements, charge $500 for it, and people who want a carry permit have to take it. Now, that's not something that I would do, but it opens up the market for that.
$1 million.
It's ridiculous. It's a right. You shouldn't have to take a class to exercise a right. We teach the class for people who want to get their carry permit because they have to take a class in order to get the carry permit. We teach other classes too outside of the carry permit class. If you want to do some more advanced stuff, you want to do some actual basic marksmanship, if you want to do some concealed carry tactics and strategies, things like that. You can take all those different classes. There's a ton of instructors out there that offer those kinds of things. But people shouldn't be told that they have to do that in order to exercise their constitutional right to bear arms. It's kind of ridiculous. So, as you can see, it's not going very well. And, at least on his end. So after he, invites us up to his office, this happens.
To join, you have to go through a different entrance, obviously.
Okay.
But I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. Support constitutional carry.
Okay.
Grew up shooting competitively. I'm on the same side you are. Trust me. And the whole point is, I don't want to be the guy to tell you what to teach because I'm not you, and you know 10 times more what you be in that class.
Then why are you making a law about concealed carry classes?
I'd love to show you what I'm talking about and the importance of what this is. And I'd love to meet you upstairs. I'd be happy to answer all the questions and show you all this stuff. I don't believe in putting in ridiculous bills. I don't believe in doing anything that impedes our constitutional rights or the Second Amendment at all. And be happy to demonstrate. But obviously, as you heard from law enforcement, you just have to go through a different entrance.
That's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do we make that happen?
So the entrance is on that side of the building.
Main Street. The other side of the building?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I just walk in the front desk and tell them
Yeah.
to see
So,
you?
well, they'll let you up the elevators. I'm in room 439.
439?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your name again?
Right. Dave Simmons.
Dave, nice to meet you. Glenn.
I'll see you in 15 minutes.
And then we get around to the front of the building and we see all of the infernal no gun signs.
We gotta go through this door up here.
That door over there. Oh.
You guys
Firearms prohibited.
And they were plastered everywhere, which really kind of drove me nuts. Number one, it's a building that the taxpayers pay for, and you're telling them they can't carry guns in a building that they own. And number two, you got like 30 of them on the door. Really? Can people, you act like people can't read, they can't see it, they haven't followed the news. Come on. Was it really necessary? Just absolutely ridiculous. But all the guys inside were totally cool.
Weapons and stuff to the car, and you guys are more than welcome to come back up and talk to whoever your delegate or whoever you're talking to.
Roger that. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that's what that was.
He said, "Come on in," knowing that we wouldn't be able to get in.
Because he was going to take us around the back, and the cops out there stopped us.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let us walk right next to him. So.
Yeah. But like I said.
What's that? He knew that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knew what he was doing when he invited us upstairs.
So we're not. Millie, it was nice to meet you.
Hey, Millie.
Nice to meet you.
Millie.
We can't get in because of the
They're not
guns.
letting us in. So
Basically, just to sum it up, my take on this whole thing is he was doing an interview. People started asking questions he couldn't answer. I was asking questions he couldn't answer, and he turned tail and ran away to his office. He knew we were carrying. We told him we were carrying. And he knew we wouldn't be able to go in the building, but he, of course, didn't tell us that before he went back into his office where we couldn't go. So, Millie did get upstairs. She did get to do an interview with him, and hers is in the video that's linked below. So definitely check that out. But I can't believe that the law that he's proposing is exactly what he says it is, because what I've read on it online and what you guys have seen from what I rolled earlier in the video is just not the case. The online portion's gone. So I don't really know who these people think they are, that they just get to make arbitrary rules whenever they want, just either for the sake of making rules or because they think they know better, when you try and point out to them that they really don't know what they're talking about and they just run scared. So this is pretty serious stuff, guys. If you didn't vote in the last election in Virginia, you got to get out there and you got to vote in the next one. We got to get these people out of office. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
We are not here for breadcrumbs. We are here for real change.
They're going to keep chipping away at your rights. They're going to keep chipping away at things that they think are privileges, that are rights. They view the Constitution as an obstacle, not a rule book. The Constitution was written to tell them what they cannot do, not to give them permission to tell us what we cannot do. It's just not how that works. So, remember that next time the election comes up and you see an R next to Glenn Davis's name. Just because it says R next to the name don't mean you got to vote for him if you're a Republican. Do your research before you go to the polls. Check these people out. You know, we can't keep putting people like this in office. You know, we just can't do it. So, post in the comments below. Let us know what you think about the proposed law. Let us know what you think of the video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.